A healthy classroom, a healthy ecosystem classroom is achieved through various methods, but more importantly, it's achieved when students feel supported, when students feel safe, and where students are allowed and able to learn how they are supposed to. I think in order to achieve this, one has to first build community within the classroom so that the students are able to feel comfortable in the classroom. One way that we can do this is by restorative practices, which we learned in this module number 3. We talked about restorative practices that include talking circles, where students can share with other students what how they feel or what just in general what they want to share with the students, and other students can listen and they can do the same. This is a space where students are able to speak up and maybe bring out an issue that's happening in the classroom or even outside of the classroom, thus building relationships because other students might be able to identify with that student. It just builds the community in the classroom, and that allows for a space where students can learn because they're not going through other things. For instance, it might not be bullied, and that's another thing that creates a healthy classroom when that's not present. And a way that you might not have that is when you're having a community within the classroom that supports each other, understands each other, and that won't bully because they are friends or they become family at one point. And for the no bullying, I think that's really important for students to be social emotional aware of their surroundings and what's in the classroom. And when they have social emotional learning, that might also prevent the bullying. And that's just consistent acquiring knowledge and understanding of how they can manage emotions or how other people might process emotions and what is an acceptable way to do so. So, for example, if you see a friend that's upset, what can you possibly do? Would you bother them, maybe take their paper away, or would you be more helpful and ask them questions of how they're feeling and do kind things for that person so that they feel better? And also, if you're upset, do you throw things or do you deal with that anger in healthier ways? And this just basically helps for students to have goals for themselves and be responsible and make responsible decisions throughout their time in the classroom. The experience that impacted me the most throughout Module 2 was definitely the bullying assignment. I was thinking that I've had already presented something very similar to my students, and although they're first grade and they're very young, I think it's always really important to mention these things because I'm already seeing tattling or I'm already seeing other students bothering and bugging. So what I did was incorporate the something's bugging me sheet where students can go to the door and get a bugging sheet and write down if someone else is bothering them and in which ways, and they put their names, and then I get to check in with them. And I've been doing this for a while now, and what I'm seeing is a lot of students that continue to bother the same students, which if it's constant, it can turn into bullying if it's in that certain way. So although it is just taking away the pencil, taking away the paper, it's becoming something big for the student. It's not allowing them to feel comfortable in the classroom. And so I've used my Monday talking circle, restorative circle, to talk about this and the importance of giving other people their space and being kind to each other. So I've created different games like find someone that has the same sheets and tell them something that you like about them, whether it's something that they're wearing or something that they do. And so students are able to practice those skills and see that it's better to do positive things and to be kind to others rather than to be mean or to take away things from someone. And aside from seeing those bugging sheets, I've seen that students are able, or at least a bigger portion of my students are able to understand what is what can consist in bullying and why it is important to be kind to people, and why it's not okay to be mean to people, especially repeatedly. When I did the bullying assignment, I did an act. I played with another teacher and myself, and students didn't expect it. They first, when I said the mean comments to Miss Abby, the teacher that was role playing with me, I said mean comments and I started laughing, and other students started doing the same. They followed what I did, and then they realized that Miss Abby was actually hurt, and she pretended to start crying and feeling really upset because I was making fun of her, and all the other students were as well. And the students, it was like a switch. They realized what they were doing, and I told them, don't you think this is bullying? They did agree with me, and when we did the second act, the students were actually telling her that they would help her and that it was okay, and they told me to stop laughing and making fun of her. So it was really powerful to see them choose, first of all, to change their views, and then to choose to do the correct thing. Moreover, I was thinking of how my mindset and my tool set and my skill set has changed. And I think it has, where it comes to creating a learning space for my students. I think that I was really focused on academics and making sure that I was teaching the correct way, and that I was doing the most that I could as a teacher academically, that I forgot of the social emotional learning, and I started seeing that that's something that they definitely needed. And it was not until I crossed module 3 that I really made me realize that was a portion that it's extremely important for any grade to be taught. So when I started doing social emotional learnings, whether I was doing little games or just posting a question or just overall, I started seeing a change in my classroom. And although my classroom, we had been practicing in La Quech and what it means to hurt someone. If you hurt someone, you're hurting yourself. And what it means to love someone and respect someone, that means that you're going to do the same for yourself. And so we were doing that, and I've heard students say, oh, this other student's not being in La Quech, or I showed in La Quech this way. But that was not enough. um, they need to know how to process their feelings and deal with those, and they need to know how to help others or how to stay away from others when they're also processing their own learnings. And also knowing that if you hurt someone, you hurt yourself. It's not enough. They need to get to know each other and build that community in order for them to actually feel what it is to hurt someone. Aside from that, I was thinking of any additional questions that surfaced. And I was really thinking of how I can help my IEP students. How can I target these students specifically more of that social emotional learning to help them? I have a student that has an IEP, and we have a hard time helping him cope with any social or emotional aspects of the classroom in his life. And we have behavioral plans and we have a lot of things, but there's just these are just not enough. And I think it's because he needs to learn what it like he needs to learn social emotional skills. But how do I teach him? How do I bring this up to other students that might have a harder time or a tougher time understanding it? So that was my overall view and understanding of Module 3. And just overall, Module 3 for me was really helpful. As I said previously, it has helped my classroom more than I ever thought, because I would not have incorporated all of these new things, all these tool sets, all the worksheets that they can write to me, these circles, these activities that help build community and strengthens the classroom. I would have not done it without module 3. So I'm really thank you.